All right. So hello, everyone, and welcome to another expert session number 82. And our guest today is Andrei Gadashevich, who's the founder and CEO of MakeBeCool, an award-winning Shopify agency he built from a small web studio in 2010 into one of the top development partners in the ecosystem. He's also the founder of CPTN Limited, which creates Shopify apps helping merchants scale, optimize performance, and boost retention. Today, and Andrei manages a 50 million Shopify portfolio, which we're going to talk about across services and apps, bridging the gap between operator, investor, and builder. My co-host and friend, Henrik Lovscher, who is the ostrich reporter, has an amazing newsletter and is a heck of a ecom analyst. So our sponsors, I just want to say thanks to our sponsors. VTEX, the enterprise digital commerce platform, powering unified composable commerce experiences. PagBank, a leading fintech in Brazil, simplifying financial services for businesses and individuals. eDesk, customer service software built for e-commerce teams to manage support at scale. And of course, Airmeet, the platform helping communities and events connect meaningfully online. Andrei, we always start our conversations with a controversial question. The controversial question for you is, have Shopify agencies become too focused on quick builds and revenue, losing sight of long-term brand value and post-launch success?
Oh, good questions. Hmm. Um, I think all business need to beat on the brand in general, because if you build brand, you build more knowledges about your business, about your products, and this brand help you to cut spend on the market or on the ads or something like this. But it's not always about design or invest on design on the side. You need to build a good storytelling about your brand, about what problem you solve, and explain this story to your design, to your communication in different platform inside. It's a store. It's one of the platform. Um, yeah. Um
Okay, maybe I'll try something else. Do you think
yeah.
Shopify is a major player, and we have seen that they and perhaps Hendrik, you can also help me there. But what I follow is, I think, like any other platform, they have their core, which is a platform,
Mm,
and they started creating, let's call it ancillary offerings, like they have payments and stuff like that, right?
mm.
So
Yeah.
Shopify, in that sense, uh, has their regular offering, which is, if I'm a merchant, I need to sell. Now they are trying to attack the B2B market, and then you have an agency on the other hand, and you have to monetize your agency. So I think the question is more like, how do you see an agency? Uh, are you getting squeezed, and you have to find ways to make more revenue off your customers? How do you see the role of an agency today, opposed to when you started your agency? Does that make sense?
Yeah, got you, understand. Uh, yeah, Shopify cover a lot of questions and make it easy to go to the market with many brands. Except, for example, they launch some AI and some horizon terms when someone can put some prompt and create some front end development. It's also grab some work from agency for now, and I think it's. Uh, will be more in the future, and it's this work is more quality than now with AI. For agency part, if agency only focus only for development, I think it's not right way to need to focus in for agency. It's need to
Mhm.
be more understand whole ecosystem of Shopify, because it's really big solution with many customizers, with many setups, and not all merchants deeply understand all ecosystems. With applications, Shopify themselves, different plugins, something like this. And first of all, it's consulting and help right setup for merchants. Second way, I think it's good way for agency. It's thinking about goals for merchants. What goals they have,
Mm-hmm.
and which way to attract these goals. For example, increase some numbers in businesses, not like create some blocks on temps and stuff like this, or create integration. It's how this integration, how this block, and which blocks and which application to help merchants attract new numbers in their businesses, attract new revenue, new loyal customers, purchases, and etc. And it's switch from development to more strategic and consulting, technical consulting. I think
So
this
that
way
that that
is.
very good. Sorry, Hendrik, you were going to say. I'm sorry, Andrei. I think I interrupted you.
Mhm.
Hendrik, you were going to say something.
So I think what Andres just described is for me a really good observation in the sense that we're in a fork in the road moment for agencies, in the sense that it's clear to me sitting 20,000 miles away that Shopify wants to, I don't know if they want to remove agencies. I think that's too strongly worded, but that strategic shift that agencies need to make from being a service provider to being a consulting service and helping merchants, I think is a bigger deal. And for me, the question becomes for Andrei is, when did you make the decision that this road is going to close for us? We need to now start looking into apps. We need to look into um,
Mm-hmm.
strategy. When did that happen?
Uh, so we strongly start focusing on another way to monetize and provide value to our merchants in 2023, and start to shifting from development part to growth part, to help
Mm-hmm.
to attract new expertise, to how set up right cross-selling strategy, right retention strategy in technical part, like technical marketing. Yeah, because a lot of competitors appear on the market about only development, and also a lot of news about AI shifting development in general. Yeah, I don't think so. Some development it's will be life, but changes with AI. So we start to shifting our service in 2023, and just now most focusing on cross-selling and attract new revenue, increase loyalty customer, first one, and second is like a development. When we need some deep customization that AI not do right now. But for apps, we started in 2019, but we started like a try to some new business model for company in general. And usually I have mm, uh, broke think about SaaS business more easy than agency business. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's also hard, but it's different. Uh, and I make in 2019 we started this application, try to build someone uh, just like a developer. Build
Mm-hmm.
this work is great. But in 2021, I'm shifting my focus on app development in general and started like a business and different business because it's different model for marketing, for teams, how it's work in general. And then it start to be good way for us, like a splitting agency and SaaS completing.
Andrei, my question is, and
Mhm.
first off, I was very impressed that we had a few agency founders and people, for example, Rema, who works with loyalty and at bottom of the funnel, as she said. So it's very cool because in a sense, I think people are curious to understand more about Shopify ecosystem. How do you manage your agency? So that's on the one hand of things, and the other hand, I believe that there's also some. I believe in masterminds, like, so people want to learn from you and to collaborate. But I just checked here while you were speaking. How many apps there are today on the Shopify ecosystem? And it seems, if the information is current and accurate, there are over 13,000 apps on the Shopify App Store as of today. So you were saying that running a SaaS or app business is very different to running the agency, right? How many apps do you have today? That's number one. How many apps have you guys developed? Number two, how many of them flopped? How many of them did not work? And perhaps you can then share some of the cases that worked and why, some of them didn't work in your views, and some of them worked. And yeah, that would be cool to know more about.
Just now we have 7 applications in our portfolio, what we run by CPT Unlimited. All of them, 3 of them is perform really well because we have a lot of effort to build this application and maintain this application and grow this application. Next 4 applications is also work, not bad, but not good like previous one, because we not have a lot of resources to grow this. So we try to step by step. Fast growth with 3 big one and collect some revenue and efforts to split this to another application, something like this. But and we have usually I'm built only 2 applications themselves. Then I sell this application to big fund, and we collect another application and buy through the last 2 years. And so from 2 applications to 7 for 2 years. So we grow very fast, and we need to fit our team with the application, and it's like it's growth. It looks like growth step by step, not like we put all in all application in one time. So we decide how we split our effort.
Yeah, so you have 3 applications that were home runs. They did really well, right? You mentioned.
Yeah,
and
they did really well. They grow fast. Another one grows, but not so fast. How we want.
Yeah, and can you mention what are these applications?
It's applications about cross-selling. It's bundle applications. Second application is first it's MBC bundles. Second is Cartly. Cartly is cart drawable. It's also with focus so cross-selling on the cart. And the third is Split, like a deposit payment. Help make deposit for purchases and pay whole cost after product appear on the store, something like this.
So I'm hearing two things at once, and I think it's important to note here. So one,
Yeah.
Andrei has mentioned, for me, what I've heard from is risk mitigation. I think if you're an agency, you have to consider either partnering with apps that you trust to ensure that there is partnerships that will help with the growth of success. I think this is a big deal, and I've learned this over the years with Shopify in the sense that due to Shopify's platform, for me, I'll say this just because I feel the way about it. I sometimes feel that the Shopify platform is held together by prayer and like duct tape. You have the need to have apps to essentially lead to success. I think the other thing that's important to note here is that, and I think this is an important question for Andrei, and I just saw that um, Tim mentioned it also, and I asked the same, I had the same question is, Andrei, when you launched these apps, was there Shopify
It's my internet or Henrik?
Maybe it's Hendrix. Yeah, I think today is in a, let's say, the internet day, it seems. Yeah, I think Tim is also joining us. Gustavo is inviting him, but Tim had a question. So go
Yeah.
ahead, Hendrix. So, something happened to the internet there. I was saying it doesn't seem it's the internet day worldwide. You know.
So I'll say this, and I say this with respect. On Monday, we had AWS basically killing the entire internet. Now we are seeing AirMeet basically doing the same thing and basically making me look like I live in a third world economy. Great. The point that I was trying to make is I heard from Andrei that there was risk mitigation in building the apps. Tim and I had the same thought, and that is that how do you manage the risk of Shopify moving into these sectors with the functionality available, and how long do you feel this is going to continue on?
Good questions. Good questions. Thank you. You mean Shopify built the same functionality than we have?
Yes.
We have the same in the bundles, MBC bundles application. So Shopify few years ago launched their Shopify bundles application. Usually, someone afraid about it, but for us, it looks like opportunity because Shopify study merchants for this instrument. They promote bundling like a instrument to increase AOV for many customers because they have. They not put a lot of effort to make all of functionality what we have in our applications. They make standard bundle with pretty simple functionality and make API for us to implement this functionality in our application. So with this, I think we was more stronger with Shopify and with their bundling than without it. It's good way. Shopify in most situations help market to growth than grab some work. And if you think this way, it's help you to fit for situation, not like afraid and do something another because Shopify go to this market.
Andrei, do you see where do you see? Let me try to. Okay, so the latest stat that I saw in terms of cross-border and international trade, Shopify was growing quite a bit in Europe, of course, because Europe have multiple countries. So I think 14% of their total GMV. Hendrik, maybe you know more than I, but 14% I think was the latest stat that I saw from. It was cross-border trade and cross-border. So where do you see Shopify's growth coming from, and therefore the growth of your agency as well? Is it from international stores and the opportunities that you see? Is it helping stores selling internationally? Where are the opportunities that you see in the Shopify ecosystem? Let's start there.
So international selling, it's not something new. In Shopify, we do it in many ways, and it's a lot of years. But we do it in other way. For example, for Shopify Plus, before we have some 10 different stores on the subscriptions and make some 10 different copy of stores for different markets. For now, we have Shopify markets, and it's really easy to do multi-languages and multi-country store and sell international. But it's not like a point of growth. It's easy to do just now, but a lot of businesses do multi-languages and international sales before. What happened now, I think it's more effort in retail. And just now, Shopify explains POS, retail, and we see how Shopify use it only for offline, without online. So they buy some Shopify POS and use the Shopify store like a background for offline businesses. It's something new that not happening before. And second point, it's B2B sales. It's also what grows on Shopify, and point of growth for agency, for Shopify themselves also. So retail, Shopify POS, and B2B. I think it's good point to growth.
We are welcoming Tim, also, who's a agency owner, and I think he can. Hey, Tim, go ahead if you have questions. I think you had in the chat, but you're very welcome to contribute.
Yeah, no. So I was just going to add to it. So for a bit of context, we set up a SaaS. Sounds like we've gone on a similar journey as an agency. We've been through this firstly through the CMS journey, so where WordPress back in the day and all those sort of platforms started taking and encroaching into the agency world of implementation versus sort of run out. And back then we realized quite quickly that we needed to have products of our own as an agency, which is sort of where we went, and we've built and sold various different things. One of them, which was a Shopify, or is a Shopify app, it's still running now. It launched, I think, around probably 2013 on Shopify. And it was just after they did the marketplace, and it got fantastic traction almost immediately. And I think this is where Shopify really enables agencies and app developers to reach a mass market in a very sort of open way, because as an agency, you go in trying to trust people. I've got fun to go to my camera going on. The thing we've noticed, though, we've recently relaunched a sort of an updated version of the app, and where before we got, I think it's about 2,500 installs from memory in the space of about a month or two. Shopify's marketplace is now so crowded that you still get traction. They've introduced the PPC option, I think about 3-4 years ago, which obviously they want to encourage people to go and use. And where I'd say we were getting 4 to 5 installs a day regularly, sort of when it slowed off from the initial launch, now it's much harder because you've got a lot more competition. I think there's probably more searches because there's more stores. But I was just curious sort of what your experience from that aspect was as well, whether you'd noticed this sort of slowdown, I guess, just as the marketplace becomes more crowded.
We also see it, a lot of competition, really high bid by click on Shopify ads just now. I think two ways what we try to build just now in Shopify App Directions. First way is partnership with agency, because it's good way to grow for agency part and for application part. Agency have some more deeply relationship with customers, and they have opportunity to make direct communication and recommend some solution for them. This is really work. Um, how app operator, you need to build relationship with many agency, keep its relationship really well, and push them, help them to increase their services, their revenue through your services, your product, and help sell this product to merchants in general. Help merchants solve some problems that we have with your solution. It's first way what we try to do. And second is brand and brand awareness. If many merchants, many agencies know your solutions, it's many ways to they want to work with you in general. If someone first hear about you, it's really hard to try first time. It's need to learn, study what is work, how it works, try another solution what solves these problems, and choosing. If you're top one of the market with the solutions, it's big wares. It's you have a lot of merchants because they know about you. So this two way, it's not easy way, but it's need to build to make a success on the Shopify market. It's also we maintain Shopify ads, Shopify SEO for listing, for organic and etc. marketing activity, because without it we will not have installation. Yeah.
So I suppose a bit of a follow-up one question there then. Do you, when you're building your apps, I mean, we've only got one because it's a sort of a wrapper to another SaaS product effectively. Do you find going for smaller, more discrete apps that do one function but come from the effectively your app house, so that the agencies then go, okay, well, I've got cross-selling, now I'm going to go and do chat or whatever it is? Or do you tend to bundle the functionality together so you end up with multiple features in one product?
For now, if we take MPC bundles, it's really advanced solution for bundling. Many options, many different layout, many discounts for cross-selling and bundling. But it's only for product page and for bundling products, not like a additional functional. But it's really advanced. When we start, we think about only one solutions. It's like a make bundling, like a product page, like a virtual products, but real products on the catalog. It's never a solution, never been on the market, and market want it, and we do. But after this, we start to collect feedbacks and what customers want from us, and we build it. Just now, we know a lot of applications that solve only one way bundling. For example, a volume discount, we started discount, and only about it. We do some more spread, many different bundling strategy on the one application.
So I think one of the most important things that I think has not been said, which I think is important to note here, is that app builders have a massive challenge inside this Shopify ecosystem. And I think this gets lost in this conversation, is that everything goes well until Shopify decides to invest in an app in a particular sector. And I think Tim mentioning that looking for a niche or looking for an opportunity that's not widely known, I think is a much bigger deal in the ecosystem that many people don't think about. Because what happens is, and I've seen this from an analyst side, is as soon as Shopify partners with an app, they give, from what I believe, they give them less cost, so there's less financial impact for them. They give them, I believe, the opportunity to market much easier to the various owners of websites. So the App Store becomes more difficult for companies to find what they need. And this leads me to my next question for both Andrei and Tim is, what's like the green light or the red light? How do you determine, like, this is what we need to build? What's the risk? How do you mitigate that risk?
First one, it's good product. If we see it's good products, it solve problem for merchants. If they have good reviews, it's interesting for us to invest it or buy it. It's first what we see. It's not about only top of the market. We see on the potential application, and because we have some knowledge about how growth application more faster, it's help us to choose a little bit under top. Second, it's our portfolio strategy. If it's something not something different, what we not sell in not make value together with another application, it's harder to explain customers why they need to install. It's like a separate business, separate app from other portfolio. So we want some application that make stronger our portfolio together. So if you have some MBC bundles, it's easy to set up Cartly and make a lot of cross-sell offers on the cart drawer, because we have deep integration between. It's easy to split to deposit payment, because we have also a lot of integration between these applications. So we built some small ecosystem between this application and help merchants in easy way to increase some numbers. And also we're looking for application to what make our stronger with our value proposition for merchants.
Tim.
And red flags, red flags it's bad experience. It's not growth themselves. It's struggling with growth, something like this, and it's not bad UX, but bad products themselves. It's not solved with buggy, something like this.
Yeah, so I mean, some good points there. I mean, I think we can also take some sort of lead from just general, how do you choose a SaaS product, right? I mean, I think, as Andrei said there, find out what the client demand is. The way that we've tackled that is, as an agency, we've often come up with solutions internally for clients that are too costly for whatever reason to implement. Especially with AI coming out now, you get a lot of people pushing back saying, well, we could just vibe code that solution or come up with a solution with AI after a weekend. I think identifying that there's a market need is the first thing, and there's no better place as an agency than to be driven by your customers. You don't need to have a lot of customers driving that point, I don't think. I mean, there are products that are on our roadmap which have been driven from 1 or 2 requests, which just seem like there would be a wider audience to get out. I think we're potentially in a slightly different space to Andrew, in that we're not just doing Shopify. So we're, as in sort of Shopify apps. Some of our products are designed to be cross-platform. So we're purposely looking at Ecommerce, Magento, and trying to make the IP live outside any of these platforms, because Shopify is great. It's a market leader. It's a huge platform. It's a huge ecosystem. I think millions of stores now, 30 million, I think somebody cited. But I think we have to bear in mind that a lot of those are driven by the COVID sort of home sort of weekend side gig type drop shipping process that became very popular and somewhat died off. I think there's a lot of people doing it. So we can't ignore it, but it is still very much the sort of direct to consumer market. And that's where Shopify really sort of excels. I've heard that they're bringing out B2B solutions in the next sort of 12, 18 months. That's on their roadmap. But I think the B2B position is a very different proposition. It's fine if it's B2B2C, then you can leverage Shopify, but it gets pretty costly at times. So I think there's a marketplace for B2B focused apps as well at the moment. I think that's problems like integrations with Microsoft BC, for example, and other ERP systems out there. Shopify starts to, let's say, struggle, but the off-the-shelf dream that you're sold starts to be just costly because you have to get so many plugins and things. So yeah, client need is definitely the focus there. Stay, if you have a niche, then stick to that. I think that's a really good suggestion. And then product quality, definitely. I don't know if Shopify's got there quite yet, but other platforms that have gone through a similar sort of journey of building a plugin ecosystem to make them more intrinsic and sort of tied into the ecosystem often go through a quality control phase as well, where the first Shopify app that we built was pretty pony, to be fair. It wasn't great. It was an iframe that was wrapped in and just loaded up in the background. I think Shopify is becoming a lot more restrictive now. It's got Polaris, I think, is the platform. They're enforcing design standards upon you. So because the problem the platforms often hit is that as other people do the plugins, customers, as in the end users of your app, can't differentiate between Shopify and your app. And we've had support requests, as I'm sure Andrei has, to our app saying, hey, look, this isn't working as I'd expect, not realizing that it's totally separate to Shopify. So it goes into Shopify, then they redirect over and say, well, actually, this is an app. It's nothing to do with Shopify. So I think because of that, they're trying to protect their reputation and their design patterns and things. So being aesthetically pleasing, easy to use, the sort of the standard things you'd pick up in any product design sort of forum is definitely applicable here. And I think if you're an agency setting out on sort of like this other worlds, if you will, of sort of product, it is a very different journey. You have to be very careful to allow the business time to go and develop those features and those functions and the plugins and the products, because you don't want to do what we started to do, which is build a really cool product but not give it enough time, and then it just sits there and you've wasted time, therefore money, doing it. So be quite careful to make sure that your first foray is a simple one. I'd say start off small, get an app, ship it, and then get the team on board with it.
My question, which is, I'm not sure if it's a question, but perhaps an observation, a reflection, is more like, okay, so I have evolved and I don't believe in social media. I mean, I use social media because social media, let's say LinkedIn, they own the game. And if they say, shut up, I'm shutting this today, I don't know, I have a headache or stomachache, whatever, they change the rules. And I think it's the same when you're building an app on some kind of marketplace, right? So you have that platform, you have the potential visibility, they can promote you and whatnot. But whenever they say, okay, we are changing the rules, then the rules are changed and are pretty much theirs. And so I think it's more like in that sense that I want to understand, how do you guys as agencies mitigate risk? Because there's clearly a potential huge upside if stuff goes well with your app. But then if, I don't know, if Shopify decides, Shopify, it could be VTEX, could be, big commerce. If they decide to say, oh, this is sexy, let's, why don't we build an app, because this is also solving a fundamental problem that we didn't perceive to date, So how do you guys, I think you said in part, Tim, you're playing in other waters as well, right? You're exploring other platforms, but what else can you do as an agency? You know, I'm using my example as as the owner of a community. So I have direct access to people like yourselves, and that's much cheaper than relying on LinkedIn. But yeah, your views on that.
Well, so I suppose just from my point, because I think this came up earlier, so I think maybe it was Hendrik's point of how do you protect yourself. It's also something that we came up against quite early on when we were going for some funding. One of the key questions was, you're vulnerable to the whims and woes of the platform. If they choose to not only build the component themselves, which in the case of data analytics is quite possible, but also the egos and the whims of the owners of the platform. So you could be in favor with them 1 minute, you could be the #1 app, and then you could publicly say something incorrect, and then you could be taken off. So it's definitely a challenge from our side. That's why I think I'm not necessarily consciously at the start, but certainly are mindful of now, have gone with the route of the plugins that we are building for Shopify are extensions of the core SaaS platform that can go across multiple systems. So that's how I'd sort of position it from our perspective. I don't think I would not tackle a platform specific plugin if I saw there's an opportunity there, but you just have to be mindful that it could be here today, gone tomorrow. But that's just the world we're in these days. I mean, I think I agree sort of with your sentiment of not really believing in social networks to an extent. I think it's social proof is really important, which comes back to what Andrei was saying, of one of the key things you do is you build up a community around you. And I don't know, those you may or may not remember the Apollo app for Reddit a few years ago that was in the press. And it's a really good example of how vulnerable you can be. So they had an app that was, I think, iOS and Android, and it was the #1 Reddit browser on mobile. It was brilliant. Everybody loved it. And it was just super. Reddit released their own app, and they didn't like the fact that people still used Apollo because they wanted people to use the Reddit app because that's where they had the adverts and things. They then introduced the API charges and billing and changed the model on Apollo to the point where Apollo could no longer justify being a business. And they were a multi-million-pound business built totally on a single platform. And sadly, they're nowhere now. Overnight, it was about a 2-week period where it was crazy and it just went. So I think that sadly is just the position we are as businesses these days. I think it is very transient, and especially with social media, you've got a fad TikTok, trend hits today. People stock up, as I think it was mentioned in our London meet, wasn't it, with the lady from Avon, that they stock up and then within 6 days nobody's buying it anymore. It was that fast. But I don't know if that's the same that you've experienced, Andrei.
Yeah, thank you for explanation, for your opinion. Diversification is great strategy to avoid one platform problem. For us, something different. We go deep with rule of the game on the Shopify for both directions, for CPTN and for MakeBeCool. It's some different, but in general, it's similar. So we have two stable things. First things, it's a good product and good support or good relationship with customers, with merchants. It's what we invest in the both sides. In the services, it's good services and good relationship also. So first, it's for CPTN limited with applications. Platform really changed a lot. Sometimes they go on our place with Shopify bundles, for example. And one rule, what we have this now, we need to adapt for platform. If they give us something, for example, Shopify API, new Shopify functions, Shopify markets, something like this, it's a great opportunity to grab it more faster than another and adapt our application for this new opportunity. It's help us to make merchants more successfully and more easy to use our application with Shopify platform, like a native for Shopify. For example, in agency sites, it's also around completely changes with AI, with some duties from Trump, something like this. We need to go deeper in it with these changes. We need to adapt for AI. We need to take this instrument and learn how we use it to help merchants for first. Because we are technical guy. We learn more faster with new feature like gigs, and merchants not so faster in this way. And then we help them adapt with AI, with another instrument, and learn, study them about it. So for us, it's adapt for market or for platform, grab more faster new instruments, new tools, new API in our products or our services, and then study our merchants to use it in a more efficient way.
Brilliant. Hendrik, you always have great questions, man. I'm running out of questions.
I don't think we've run out of questions. I think that for me, the question that I wanted to ask Andrei was, how do you view or decide to invest in apps? How do you, so you have an agency that you started with, then you become similar to an investor. What has changed? How do you view opportunities now versus when you started your company?
When I was younger, I think more like a startupper. Oh, it's great idea. I think this idea solves some problem. I can do it because I can, and just do it. And after product or something appear, I think who is buyer, who is customers, how I sell it, how I find some right market. It's like a wrong way, I think, to do in any businesses. Just now, I'm more think about market and customers first. Which problems they have. Uh, we have some market with this problem or not have. If not have, it's not interesting. I not grab ideas what appear for me or from my around. Sometimes it sounds like a great idea, but without any fundament, any knowledges about customers or merchants, about any interviews, something like this. And I'm just okay, great idea, but not go into it. And only investigation of the problem, only understand market of the what we have with these problems. We go to do something or buy something.
Perfect. Gustavo, you just
Great.
joined in.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I'd like to jump in, connecting with Hendrik's question, because I was I worked a lot, like I would say, on the other side of this, is responsible for partners in an e-commerce platform and dealing with agencies and also ISV partners. So one thing that I'd like to ask, and it connects a lot with Hendrik's question, and that I've talked with a lot of agencies through all these years, is that in some point, and I'd like to understand from Andrei and also from Tim, is it something, because what I felt, and some agency owners could share that with me, is that the agencies, they are building, but they're not building for them. They're building for their clients. So you build and you deliver, but it's not something that's yours. And some of them said, so sometimes it's almost natural, at least the agency at least tries to build any type of product, because it's something that they, let's say, it's maybe it's not in the business side, but it's more like in the desire side, that they have they built something and that's their something. um, what do you guys think about it? That happens. I know that's not for everyone. That doesn't happen for everyone. But I heard a lot of times things like that. So agencies, they're building already also a lot of stuff for their customers, and they say, well, this, I want to have something from my own that is mine. I want to have my product. And some others things, oh, okay, there's a lot of opportunities because we're building for a huge number of clients, and we're seeing that they have this and this and this problem, and we can solve it. What do you guys think about that?
Great
Do
question.
you want to go first, Andrew?
Yeah, Tim? Okay, let's first you.
So I think it's a great question, and it's one that we've definitely been there. I think e-commerce agencies have it even worse, because if you're building a brochure website or a bit of middleware, transferring data, it's very hard to see any sort of financial benefit, I suppose, to the work you've done. E-commerce is totally different. The ROI is so clear. Like you get an order through the website, and then there's no way it could have come from anywhere else but the website. So the work that you put in made that client money. And I think it makes it sort of very front and center for agencies, especially when you get a success, which ultimately you're really pleased about. But you're more pleased when they spend more money with you, because a lot of the time, most agency client relationship, I would say, don't have a tie between any form of ROI and spend. People have tried it and some have succeeded. So I think it makes it a lot more sort of poignant. You feel it a lot more when you see your clients being successful. And as you say there, it's potentially, you did them a deal, you did them a favor. Why can't I have a piece of that pie? So I think there's definitely a driver there, for sure. And I think the danger as agencies is to immediately go to the product side of things, because you have the skill sets. As Andrei said earlier, you've got the breadth of visibility across multiple clients, which is what a lot of clients themselves lack. So here in Herefordshire, we've got an e-commerce forum where a few of the bigger e-commerce stores meet up and have a closed forum to talk about things that they've learned, to try and sort of share that information. And that's why I've always liked groups like this, because people talk quite candidly and openly about challenges they're facing. I think that's really important as a business owner. And I think the danger is, because you can, you do. And I think there's probably the due diligence that Hendrik was kind of alluding to there, that you've got to go and check what the market is. I mean, there are products that are absolutely fantastic, and you look at it and go, I'd love to go and build that. My team would love to go and build it. I mean, don't want to harp on about AI too much, but all these AI things, people are like, I want to go and play with it because it's a fun new tool, and that's the developers, they're curious. But should you, is the question. If the market is 2 customers and it's going to take you a year of your team to go and build it, is that a sensible investment of time? And I think you have to value the time. And this is also slightly answering Hendrik's question here. The way that we look at it is, we look at what we think the potential market size is. We then work out roughly what we think we can generate from that. And then I, being a little bit cynical, sort of divide that by a few multiples, because people always over-egg it. And then I work out how much time, roughly, finger in the air, is it going to be a week? Is it going to be a month? Is it going to be a year of development? Like, where does it sit? That then gives me a cost. And then it's like, well, the return on investment is or isn't there. And there are loads of brilliant ideas that the team have come up for. And this is one thing I definitely encourage all agencies to do, is talk to your team, because often they come up with little side projects and things. And the way we started was something called Fun Friday, where we just carved off Friday where people aren't that efficient anyways. You know, they're winding down for the weekend, they've had a hard week, and if there isn't a time critical problem to you, they go and work on the business problem, they work on the business product, which might be an internal tool. So I think you've got to be careful of the temptation, avoid that. You've got to be pragmatic and treat it like a business, and you've got to be realistic with your sort of your goals. Hopefully that answers your question. Good stuff.
Yeah, great answer. Thank you, Tim. In my side, first, when I start application, I have some naive things about. I want to attract new merchants for agency from applications, but in general it doesn't work. From agency to applications work. In opposite, it's really hard because on the some merchant sites who set up applications, a lot of agency. If it's a bigger application, who interesting for our agency also. And second, agency. If you decide to start product, you need to understand it's completely different business. Sometimes it's really hard to run two different business in one time. For example, for me, just now I'm take participant on the agency side like a strategist and help my team to build right strategy and run the strategy in general, but not in operational stuff, and more focus on up. And to avoid some risks for agency in this behavior, to make some own, I think you need to shift some mindset about how you provide the services. If you take this responsibility for you, if you think about not like a just wait for tasks from merchants, think what they need, what we need to do to increase some numbers, sometimes beat of the numbers. Some, for example, take some part of your cost, not like a pricing, like a share some profitability. If you beat these numbers, what we want to achieve, you give them some bonus. If not, it's not. It's take responsibility to agency sides also, and it's shifting ownership. We also ownership about this KPI, about success of our merchants, and it's help merchants build right behavior, right relationship with customers, with merchants. I think this shift is very significant, and understanding this agency and apps, it's different. You need to make decision in sometimes what's first for you, because it's you not sit on the two chair in some places.
Yeah. Understand. Thank you both for your answer. It's quite complete from you both, and because there's also another thing that is when you're talking about when you're an agency or you have an app, and your relation with the platform, whatever it is, it's different, because from one side, if you're an agency, what you expect and what the platform expects from you is for you to drive customers, new customers for them, or at least to maintain, to retain, to help them retain those customers. But if you have an app, or if you are an integrated partner with that, and then the basically the almost the logic turns, because at that point you're interested in their client bases, and then that turns because the negotiations are different, and and if you're talking like about a huge platform like Shopify, for an example, when an app store with 13,000 apps, you don't have, sometimes probably you won't have the relationship that you have with your customer when you're an agency, because it's a different relationship. So your client will plug in and plug out your solution. So, and in your relation with also the platform is also different. So you need to, as Andrei said, so you need to balance and to understand, and team also, what you're looking for at the end of the day when you're an agency. And probably, I think what a lot of agencies do, and probably sometimes do it wrongly, is they try to run both as the same thing, but it's different, right? Because as I was explaining, the objectives at the end of the day are different. With also, especially with the relationship of with the this partner that you're working inside their ecosystem. So you need to understand also the dynamics of an agency is different from the dynamics of an application, of a product side. So it's interesting. So that was my part.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Well, I'd add to that. I mean, I think you're right. The dynamics do change and they shift between sort of whether you're bringing Shopify client stuff. The reality is Shopify, for the majority of agencies, I'd say, is so big now that it doesn't really make a difference when you're bringing customers to them. And in the early days, they were excited if you brought 5 customers, they're over the moon. Now, if you're a Shopify Plus Platinum partner of things, then they will court you. They'll take you off to the Canada or whatever else and give you prizes. But I think it's important to bear in mind that, as with everything really on the web, it's a very symbiotic relationship. So I totally agree with when you're an agency, you're bringing clients to Shopify. When Shopify, you want to be putting the clients into your app. Well, the reality is the app is on the ecosystem for Shopify. And I think the important bit to remember as an app developer is, if you're bringing value to Shopify with your app because it's a good app, then you're tying their customers to their platform. You're making the friction, the traction sort of greater, right, to leave, because they go and have a look at Magento, and by the time they sort of worked out all the different apps they need to plug in to get the functionality, I think one of the appeals that we certainly find customers have for Shopify is, yes, the ease of getting up and running, it's synonymous with just click and go, but it's just the fact that it's a click and play functionality. If they don't have something that they want, there's usually an app. They might have to pay for it. And I think Shopify do appreciate that. I think it's not necessarily the case if you've got 5 themes, for example, or drop down search functionality and there's 15 different plugins that do it. But if you're bringing genuine feature sets to Shopify, I think they look at you quite favorably in that sense.
Thanks, Tim. I have just a final question, and Hendrik, you will be the one wrapping up this conversation today, because you're great at it, man. But the final question is more like, okay, we spoke a lot about agencies building a product and potentially spinning off a product, the differences, in terms of running an agency and so on. But where do you guys then see the future of, because just like within Shopify, you have 13,000 apps. Its competition is fierce, even though there's a lot of space to grow in e-commerce and whatnot. But where do you see e-com platforms growing? Where do you see the opportunities? Because that's also a red ocean. So one of the things that I think you were saying there that was quite interesting is, okay, Magento, they had this open source sort of idea whereby you have Shopify, they're creating this a marketplace of apps, and it's another way to lock in your customers and show value, right? So on the one hand, I would have to create stuff. It's really interesting, and okay, I have an opportunity to create stuff on my own, but I need development. On the other hand, here, I will have a platform that has a marketplace full of valuable options. Maybe not all of them are going to suit my needs as a merchant, but I have options here. Another thing that I've been thinking about, I spoke to some guys from a platform called Centra a while ago. I think they are from Sweden, yes, and they're focusing pretty much in the fashion. They were vertical. So my question is more like, where do you guys see platforms moving towards in terms of an opportunities, provided that this is such a red ocean? Everyone now has a platform. So one way for me, my opinion is going deep in a vertical, but maybe I like to hear your take. You know, what's the future of platforms? Is it B2B? Is it whatever? Go ahead, guys.
I start. So I think first thing what happened is it's make e-commerce more easy for many people. Its point of go to the market is, for example, I can start e-commerce business, like a small business, really start with really fast with Shopify, and it's more easy and easy each year. It's help to start business for many people in general. Shopify solves this problem like a first solution, but it's for small businesses, because small businesses a lot and large businesses most small. And for large businesses, it's more deep in processes on these businesses. It's like a from offline retail to online. It's like a smooth integration between it. It's B2B also, and subsequently it's more deep and deep in process and optimization, subsequently. But it's really huge solution. You need to understand really deep in this solution and make knowledge about right setup. So if you're smaller, you can start fast and easy. You need any help from developers, marketers, some skills to start the business with Shopify. If you're bigger, you need some advisor who help you to understand all solutions what Shopify have more deeply than you, and help you go this way more faster and efficient than you can themselves. I think it's Shopify go in these two directions: more easy for many people and more complex to enterprise.
And do you just perhaps to your point, Andrei, do you see platforms where I get the simplification and complexity of Shopify, but other platforms, if you have any take on that, would be interesting, just to as an agency founder, what's your take on where do you think platforms, e-com platforms in that sense, where do they grow? Where do they grow from here? Since this is a red ocean, you know, are they gonna focus on B2B? Are they gonna differentiate in that sense? I have a simple offering, perhaps for other platforms. For Shopify, I got it. But do you have any take on other platforms?
For agency part, I think for agency part, for now is AI. It's really popular, and for marketing, we need to take AI on this slogan. But if you build some AI first agency with focus on growth, on numbers for e-commerce, this is our strategy. We need to take AI solution, learn how it's work, how we can apply it to e-commerce businesses. Also, we need to have deep expertise in Shopify in general, and focus it on numbers, on revenue for merchants, not like building something. And it's red ocean, but many agencies not go into it, because they achieve only development and in the it.
Brilliant, thank you, Tim. Your take?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the reality is that all platforms are going to go the same way, and we just need to look at the sort of the Far East, really. So China, I think ultimately, and it's probably sort of 5-10 years out, all platforms are becoming data platforms, and they're data aggregation. And Shopify have already seen this, and you can see one of the things that sort of a lot of people aren't aware of with Shopify, and it may just be US and UK, I don't know, but they've got the Shop app, for example, where they're taking you away from the merchants. But what all these platforms are doing, and this kind of talks to Andrei's point, is that they're opening up markets. They're giving the retailer easy access to lots of different people. Well, the whole sort of construct of the web itself is it still a barrier? You know, I think we're going to go down to a route where I think, Carlos, you're going to be quite pleased. I think WhatsApp will end up being a buying platform. I think that's where they're going. Shopify is already going that way. And I think the AI side of things is driving it, as Andrei says. I think the being able to come up with data standards and data models that platforms all understand, and Google started this years ago with schema, so you can kind of put other people's products on there. So I think ultimately all platforms will end up going off to effectively a headless commerce environment where retailers are then more selecting where they want to be targeting, and a bit like sort of Google AdWords, I suppose, in the years gone by, where they say I want to appeal to the Brazilian market or the UK market, or they may just leave it open to Shopify or the platform of their choice to engage the customers. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and I think as agencies we have to be mindful of that. We have to look beyond implementation. I think there is an element of implementation is taken away from us now. Shopify makes it easy. There's, you choose a template, you can get a store up and running in 5 minutes. It's brilliant. Like, you can't look away from that. But as Andrei says, it's not right for everybody. There is still the need for the Adobe Commerce of this world with their multi-million-pound implementations and hyper personalization and things, because for those clients it's the right thing. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Fantastic. All right, we've reached 1 hour and 12 minutes, gents. So Hendrik, please do the honors.
So today's conversation for me was really interesting because I think agencies are in a dichotomy in terms of what is their future, how do they survive the current, and learn from the past. I love this conversation because it made me realize that we need to go back to servicing our customers better to ensure that there's a relationship, because we kind of forget about it because of all the technology that we work with. But I also believe that this conversation also showed to me that there's many ways to, eat an apple. And Andrei, our expert today, for me, showed that there's multiple business models for agencies to consider. The reason why I love these Thursday conversations is that while we are sitting 10,000 miles away from each other, in most cases we share ideas and we share certain concepts and think along similar lines. And that's one of the reasons why I love this conversation on a Thursday, because I wouldn't say it affirms or breaks thoughts, but it provides the opportunity for us, those of us who are consultants, to learn about what others are thinking. And that is very lovely, especially if you sit in the south point of the world, like I do in Cape Town. And also, to Tim's point, we already have WhatsApp e-commerce here down south. It's a bit wonky at the moment, but it's getting there. And I'm looking forward to next week, Thursday's conversation. I hope our friends Gustavo and Carlos have somebody else that has large boots to fill, because this conversation today was fantastic.
Sweet, man. Appreciate you, gents. Appreciate you all. I will put everything in the show notes. So thanks very much for the expert session this week. Andrei, amazing. Tim, thanks very much for your special participation. And Hendrik, as always, thanks, man.
Thank you for the interesting question.
Yeah, thanks for organizing. Really good fun. Thank you.
Cool thing.
Thank you. Have a nice.